Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back, or welcome if you're new to the channel. I have drugged Kyle out of hiding. So you're gonna be in this video, and I'm gonna try and get you to do some of the voiceover work with me. Okay. So I figure I might as well come say hey in the intro. This is Kyle. That's River coming in with her squeaky toy. But
I completely put this video editing on pause and kind of quit editing it. I filmed this months ago now, and I think it's a good video. We put a lot of effort into it, but when I started it, my external microphone was broken, and I feel like the audio very much reflects that. I ended up getting a new one delivered like a day or two into this. I should have just waited to start filming, but I really hope it's not too noticeable. Most of it's going to be voiced over like this anyways, but I know I sound like I'm speaking like 5 octaves higher than I typically do.
We cook most of our food at home nowadays. He cooks most of our food at home nowadays. I'm excited to show you what we eat in a week. I'll talk to you guys about the backstory of why we do cook all of our food, because we kind of grew up with like a regular, very normal lifestyle, like fast food.
My parents hardly cook. I don't even think I've ever seen them chop an onion or a pepper.
That's like crazy, but it's like very true to me too. Like neither of my parents cook.
Might be a lot, because meatloaf was her specialty.
Okay, but that still is like a birthday specialty. You know, like our parents don't cook. So we came from like very Kraft mac and cheese households, if anything. Like
that was my favorite.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's affordable, it's good, everybody likes it, but it's not really good for you. That is why I'm even more excited to show you what we're eating, what we're doing, give some inspiration. That's like the hardest thing about being an adult, like adulting to me. Like like having a job all the time, paying for shit, that's not fun. Figuring out what you're gonna eat every day.
We're about to make a pot roast, a classic comfort meal.
All the dirty produce. We're about to wash this. We start cooking, which I feel like is so randomly on brand for us for it to be like almost 1 a.m.
The next morning, we went for a classic ricotta pancake. I have always been more of a waffle girl because I like the crunch that they have, like the texture. But these ricotta pancakes are so good. They are a staple on our menu. I probably eat them at least twice a month right now. I think the clock back there says 4 o'clock. So this was no morning time breakfast. We definitely weren't hitting breakfast super early after staying up all night with that pot roast, but these pancakes slay. They're so good. Our pancake recipe makes 6 really big pancakes, and together we can only eat a stack of 3 because they're huge and super filling, especially if you have like bacon and other things on the side. Little reheat tip: if you just run the frozen pancake underwater for a second, it really adds a lot of the moistness back in that was originally there. That's exactly how I cook like soft pretzels that I buy frozen, and I love a good soft pretzel. For a while we were just trying to figure out how we could get the perfect reheat, and that is it. Never in my life he pulled up a YouTube video and got to carving a little strawberry rose. Get you a man that'll carve you a strawberry rose. Like, the bar is high. This turned out so good for his first try.
And I'm not even a pancake person, but these smack.
The roses, that's my first time ever doing that. Those things look better.
You're making mashed potatoes tonight?
Maybe.
Why are you growling? Yeah, Miss Attitude. Night 2.
Looks just as good, if not better. It's a heavy plate.
It is really heavy.
We woke up in a scramble this morning.
Yes, you're in a huge rush.
Like,
we almost missed our appointment.
I know. River had a vet appointment. We just preheated the oven for some organic chicken nuggets from Trader Joe's, because we do this thing all the time where we roll out of bed and then we don't really get around to eating till lunch. A lazy lunch. Our little honey mustard and barbecue sauce.
For dinner, we decided to use up some of our spinach we had in the fridge from the garden and make one of our favorites, a creamy spinach pasta. It's super easy and it never misses.
And you? Nah, you with the shirt? And she's off.
Yep. Your shirt.
Look, we're both in green. And both in
A little
light
bit
green.
different tunes, but...
Both of us taking a ginger today?
Yep.
I think I took a ginger yesterday, but I'm just hardcore.
It tastes better for you.
The turmeric just tastes like dirt, like the earth. When we get on this kick, we make fruit water like almost every day. So we have this cute little pitcher. Oh, and they're organic.
Something about a fruit water is so simple yet so luxurious, and you can go so many different ways with it. I vividly remember staying in like a little bit nicer of a hotel as a kid, and they had a huge pitcher of fruit water, and that is when I realized I was obsessed with a little fancy water.
When I tell you this girl loves a cucumber, like it's a top tier snack for her. She has already eaten like 4 slices.
Hasn't even marinated yet, and it's already pink and delicious looking. Tastes super fresh.
I'm just popping in here a little bit more in real time now to explain to you guys why we eat the way we do, because we grew up, like I kind of talked about in the intro, very, very normally, like eating a lot of fast food, a lot of like quick meals just because they were quick and convenient, like most people, at least in America, do.
And I wouldn't say it has that much to do with the fast food. Like, there are McDonald's in every country. I think it comes down to us not having free healthcare, obviously, because the shit that they put in the United States as food compared to other countries is so insane. The regulations are on the floor, which I feel like in other countries you can eat fast food and live a perfectly fine life, but that is not the reality in America, unfortunately. I try to shop mostly organic, limited processed foods, but I still do love a snack. I am a stoner at the end of the day, so I do be getting caught up with some snacks sometimes, but I try to limit the processed foods, but I still like to eat, you know, a good variety and love food. And for a while, I was struggling with eating and disordered eating, and just that was a big problem where I wasn't really eating at all, or like very, very little. And then that kind of developed into GERD, which was crazy because I was eating slim to none, and Kyle, my boyfriend, when he went to work, he would have lunch and then he might eat a little something like with me, but he wasn't eating enough. I think it was general lack of food, but then what we were eating was also like just shit food too. GERD for me, I know it's like a little different for everybody. I was just waking up and like puking for hours and felt so horrible until I'd eventually come around, and then I'd be hungry, but it was just like I just went through a horrible cycle, and then I would get anxiety around like going to bed and like eating because I knew I was gonna wake up feeling the same way the next day, and it was just a horrible cycle. I went to the doctor. They prescribed both Kyle and I omeprazole, which then I come to find out my mom has been prescribed omeprazole, my dad has been prescribed omeprazole. Everybody I know pretty much is on this delayed release omeprazole. Our food is obviously a major problem. I always like to tease that they're like, oh, like lifestyle is the cause of it, but the solution is omeprazole, or like this medicine they're feeding you, which is like so fine, to each is their own. And I think modern day medicine is so helpful, like when it comes down to it. Like I've had several surgeries, there are things that need to be done, but I feel like a lot of it is so insane to me. I then went to a holistic doctor, and she was like, just strip your diet down to pretty much nothing. We're not gonna eat any pork because like pork is harder for you to digest. No broccoli, like just random stuff that you would think isn't like bad for you, but like apparently is harder for us to digest. And I was like, it is interesting now when I eat pork products, I do realize I like burp a lot more, like my body is struggling, but now I do eat those products. So I wasn't doing that whole medicine situation. I was like, I don't want to just be on medicine. That's not my goal here. I'm already chronically ill and I don't take any like painkillers. I just use cannabis. So I didn't really want to be on anything. I do remember in the meantime that Dramamine worked so surprisingly well, which is like, you know, a motion sick situation, but I don't know. I would take one before I went to bed and I would wake up feeling so much better than if I didn't when I was like in the heat of the GERD. What is started through foul lifestyle can be fixed by correcting your lifestyle. So I really did strip down my diet to like mostly whole foods, and I feel like it took a little while for that to even work. I had to eat that way for a few weeks before I noticed anything change, but then slowly but surely, Kyle and I, neither of us wake up feeling that way. We haven't woke up feeling that way in like literally probably over a year now.
The soup's so hot.
I like taking my first bite with this. And then once it's open, I like making like an at-home soup dumpling.
Yeah. That broth's so good in the dumplings.
There were still some times that like I was like, I would rather eat and like make sure I'm eating food and give my stomach something to digest, because that's a huge thing. They say your stomach would rather be busy like digesting a little snack than just being hungry. And like now nothing bothers me at all. I feel like my gut is super strong and like I could eat the worst thing for you ever and just fall asleep 5 minutes after eating it too. Like they say not to eat right before bed, and I'll wake up feeling great. So I don't know, it's very interesting. I remembered thinking maybe smoking weed or like eating edibles is like relaxing my sphincter, whatever, and like letting stomach acid flow and making me feel horrible when I wake up. But no, that had nothing to do with it. Like if I stopped or if I like kept smoking, it wasn't making any sort of difference. I really was willing to do anything to figure it out. I'm a big believer, and if it's not working for you, you need to switch it up, change it, pivot. Once we cleaned up our diets, I feel like it was rather quickly, like within a month, that we were not feeling like shit, like so much significantly better. I'm so happy I was able to find my love for food again and also like heal myself with food. They, you know, you are what you eat, and that is so, so true. It's time for dinner and we're making one of my favorites tonight.
Excited, yeah.
This is like a weekly one for us. We target salmon a lot. We almost always have like half a salmon in the freezer. I'm about to snack on one of these really quick though. I feel like I'm always snacking when we're cooking. There's two left. How perfect. Why do these ones have all these bubbles? I've never seen a pack of mochis. Can you see this? Hold on, focus. That, like, that's a whole like bubble. I feel like I go through little snack hyperfixations constantly, and these have been it recently.
As I just said, this is a weekly one for us. I originally wanted to make a blackened salmon the very first time we ever picked up salmon, and we still to this day have not made it because this recipe is so good. The glaze consists of soy sauce, honey, and a little bit of garlic powder. Originally, I would just take a garlic clove and grate it straight into this glaze, but I find that it burns in the oven and is a bit bitter, so I prefer to use just a garlic powder. But this is such a game changer. I don't know what it is. I feel like this could make somebody that doesn't like salmon. Like, oh, it's so good.
Good morning, guys. It is the next day. We're about to make a coffee cake. I'm
Yes.
so excited.
Me too. Classic coffee cake flavor.
We're making some buffalo cauliflower for lunch today, and this is one that since we've mastered how we like the recipe, I crave it like once a week, once every other week. It is so satisfying with the crunch. It tastes like fried chicken, and I truly mean that. Like, it is so good, especially considering I put the exact same hot sauce mixture I would put on my wings. It like really reminds me, very reminiscent of that flavor, but the crunch is so good. Something about it, it's like probably my favorite way to eat cauliflower. This one is such a staple for us, and I know most people toss the little cauliflower bites just like you would wings in the sauce, but I find that that makes them so soggy and just takes away from the texture. You've got to serve it like on the side like this. But on some big back shit, I've got this down to a literal food science, and it's so much better like this.
All right. After that coffee cake this morning, this is gonna hit so hard. I've like been craving something savory ever since.
These hit so hard, like either
Regardless.
way, that yeah, you already know. One time we made these and we fucking forgot to serve them with ranch, and I was like, why do these kind of suck? And I was like, I didn't even realize it that night. The next day I was like, we didn't eat ranch.
Mm-hmm. Oh fuck, that's good.
It's hot, holy shit.
Yeah, cauliflower holds a lot of steam like inside of the breading.
It's like a little softer than chicken, I guess. I don't know, but like it really tastes like a chicken wing. Oh no.
This is like a weekly snack for us as well. Or at least it has been for a little bit.
Holy shit, these are so good.
It's hitting extra hard right now.
Kyle's about to make a tomato bisque and some grilled cheese. This is like a newer, like not super new,
Just
but
started it this year though.
Yeah, we haven't been eating this for super long. I've never loved grilled cheese, but with like the homemade tomato bit,
I think
so good.
What inspired me to try it was we just had the garden tomatoes. So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we could just
We had
go ahead and
so
try
many
that. Because we had
tomatoes.
a ton. Yeah.
And as a kid, we used to always make grilled cheeses with like sunbeam bread, and I think the sourdough does a lot, like
So
the
good.
way we make it. And we use mayonnaise instead of butter, which I prefer the taste of
Preference.
a lot to toast the bread.
Yeah.
Our morning health shot. All right, time for tomato bisque and grilled cheese.
Yes.
If it were solely up to me, breakfast would not really exist in this house. I'm hungry, but I don't really like breakfast foods. Like when I wake up, I'm ready for lunch and dinner almost every day. It's so rare that I want like a pancake or a donut. I don't know. I really don't love sweet stuff, so breakfast just isn't my favorite meal of the day. So a lot of days it looks like this, where we wake up and we just kind of make more of a lunch or brunch vibe. And considering making meals makes such a mess between making and the cleanup, it's quite intensive. A lot of days we're only eating 2 meals with some snacks in between, but they're very filling meals. I don't feel hungry, like I'm missing something at the end of the day, or I would just make some more stuff. But
Can't believe that there's nothing in that, like just straight vegetables and some seasoning. You know? Like the way it breaks down to that, all those veggies.
Delish. That was perfect.
And for tonight's dinner, we just went with this simple chicken, rice, and asparagus. This chicken has brown sugar in it, and something about the sugar makes it so juicy. I feel like a lot of people don't love baked chicken, but this one, so insane. We've probably eaten it, I want to say like 100 times, and we probably just came up with the recipe maybe 2 years ago. This is what we turn to anytime we don't know what we want to eat and we're just tired of looking and trying to figure out. As boring as it is, it's delicious. And when you're just tired of thinking about what to eat, sometimes it's easier to grab something tried and true.
Did somebody say midnight snack? We just washed off some grapes. These look delicious. River is lined up to try one. I'm gonna get her a bite of ice cream with you though. Listen to this crunch.
Sounds like a fucking carrot.
They're crisp. Okay, I gotta go brush my teeth again now.
I don't even know what you would exactly call these. Danish cheese fruit puff pastries, but these hit so hard every time. I feel like for some reason I forget that they exist and that I make them, and then when I do remember, it's like, why don't I make these more often? They're so fresh, they're so good. And then I use store-bought puff pastries, so it just comes together super quick, and they reheat well too, so you can eat them all throughout the day, kind of like if you go to the bakery, you can have donuts to snack on all day, and they reheat super well. So if you just want to throw them in the fridge, you can heat them back up in the oven the next day, and they're like as good as new. For a while, I was so in between if I wanted to post this video or not, because there were things like the coffee cake that we're still really working on perfecting. And then as the very last meal of this video, we make these pancakes that we've never made. And we're just always kind of trying new things. There are things that are super consistent, but Kyle has a food Instagram page, so we're always trying to try new things for content's sake, as well as it's so fun to find food pairings that your palate just doesn't know that you might really like. I've truly become such a foodie, but I don't know why I was overthinking this video. I overthink everything. That's my middle name at this point.
I prefer my fruit after the bake, and I think Kyle prefers his cooked like this. These are always delish, but I feel like I forget how good they really are.
I know. I don't know why we don't have them like mostly all the time.
And these are the pancakes I was just talking about. I think we found them on Pinterest and they looked crazy, but something that I definitely needed to try. And I'm so sad that they just weren't what I was expecting for having like some of the best ingredients. I feel like it wasn't everything I hoped it would be, but it was good. Like, it was edible. It wasn't bad. But these pancakes were a little crazy. They've got bacon, cheese, corn. It's kind of like a savory, I don't know what you'd exactly call it. We haven't made it since, but like I said, we are always trying new things to see if we can add something to our menu. I'd like to like perfect a version of this that's like actually really, really good and kind of similar, but obviously different because this isn't perfect. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe if you're new and drop a like. I'd love to have you join the fam. And until my next one, peace. I love y'all. Stay safe.
What do you rate them? Out of 10?
I don't know. Like a 7?
Yeah. They're not the craziest thing I've ever had. I mean, they might be, but like they're not drop dead amazing.
They're good though.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love.